Welcome to HSRV's channel. Today you'll be listening to an interview with Rick Hunter, the iconic voice of the Postal dude. Oh wait, that's me. I'm having a hard time. My computer, for some reason, your voice is coming out of my monitor, and that's never happened before. So you can probably hear your voice in the background, right?
Yeah, well, I can't hear myself anymore in the background, so it's fine now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, so thank you so much for having this interview or phone call with me. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, not a problem at all, dude. It's just we're doing some new things in the postal world, and you guys are gonna have to find out what it is.
That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of nervous because this is my first interview, like ever.
No, don't worry, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
No, you're in Finland, right?
Yeah, Finland.
Is that where you were raised and born?
Yeah, that is right. That is correct. Yeah, this is so surreal. I mean, okay, so the thing is, I've been playing the Postal series since I was like a kid. You know, I was like 12 years old.
Out of curiosity, did you start with the first Postal game, or was it Postal 2?
It was the second game. Game, and
yeah.
My point was that it's so unbelievable that I listened to your voice my whole childhood as I was, playing the Postal games.
Mm-hmm.
And now, at the age of 24, I'm actually talking to Rick Hunter, and that is amazing.
Most people that know me wouldn't say that.
Oh my God!
It's been a really interesting journey with these people because most people don't remember the very first Postal game, which was totally different than the new ones.
Yeah,
the whole voice was different. Mike wasn't a part of it. It was a whole different crowd, and it kind of turned into a big thing, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, well I did play Postal 1, I did play it as a kid, but I always thought it was it was a lot different because it had the whole psychological horror atmosphere, and you said that you sounded different in the first game. Is that right?
Well, they wanted the whole thing to be like I was inside somebody's head, so it was a whole different voiceover style. And then when we did Postal 2, they just wanted a whole other style, which is what it is now.
Yeah. I mean, in the second game, it's more like a casual, just an everyday guy going through his days. And in the first game, it was more about the demonic possession. And yeah.
What's so funny about it is, to this day, I think Postal 2 is still the most popular game that they did. And I still remember it was the easiest voiceover session that I did. I was actually at, I think it only took like 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was done in somebody's home studio. And I just, the girlfriend I had at the time, I told her just, hang out with the dog, my Rottweiler at the time, at the dog park for 3 hours. And she took care of him. And I went to the house down the road, did the voiceover work. Mm-hmm. They weren't picky at all. They kind of let me do my own thing. And if they wanted something different, they just basically said, hey, try it this way. But they've always been very, very easy to deal with.
Yeah, flexible.
Very, very flexible. I mean, Mike's a great guy. And, he lets you do your own thing until he wants it done his way, and that's very rare. And when he wants it done his way, it's usually he's right about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. You remember the interview with Jake the Voice?
Yeah, Jake's a great guy.
Yeah, he is. I think you said that it took about 3 to 4 hours to record all the dialogue for both games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the upgrades like that I had done for some of the new stuff, it took a little bit longer. They're being a little bit more anal about it now, which is good.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about doing these games now, I used to do it at other people's studios. Now I want more of a consistent sound because of the microphones I use. So I usually, have them come to my studio.
Oh, yeah. You sent me the picture of your studio, and it's a great looking place. I sort of I always thought that you just went to the Running with Scissors, the building, and that's where you recorded all the dialogue. Yeah.
It's been in various different places. Now I prefer them to come to my studio because More and more, especially with the voiceover work I do, I just want the consistency of the audio chain and the mic sound. And recently, I just rebuilt a new studio, and it's totally soundproofed. It took 3 weeks to actually get the soundproofing cut and perfectly done, and that makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I could tell. I mean, the audio quality in the voice message that you sent me, it was great. It was like straight out of a Postal game.
It does help, and if you ever get into the mic world, it's, to me, yeah, a lot of it is mic, but I'm a firm believer in having a really good preamp and compressor limiter. I use the 500 series processors.
Oh.
Plus a really good mic, so.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. I mean, I don't have any experience with voiceover, and that's another thing. It means so much to me that the Rick Hunter told me that I have a great voice, in the voice message, and yeah, you said something like that. Maybe I should do some voiceover work in the future.
You really should. I mean, I don't know how it goes. Do you speak Finnish?
Yeah, I speak Finnish. Yeah, that's right.
Fluid, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm Finnish. I'm completely Finnish.
Like, how many people in your country? Is there a big voiceover world there or not?
Yeah, that's the funny thing is, voiceover work. It's kind of like. I mean, there's only 5 million people in Finland, but that's not a lot. But it's not that common. But there are some voice actors that you hear in like almost every single cartoons and video games and animations. So
well, even beyond that, people don't think outside the box when it comes to voiceover work. I know people that are making a killing just doing on hold work. When you call up a telephone, hey, you've reached, blah, 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 our business hours or to this. That's a huge business that a lot of people don't even look into.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean...
It's not as glamorous, but it pays money.
Yeah, that's one option. Yeah. So, I wrote 7 questions for you, and some of them are related to Postal, and some of them are... Well, let's see. Some of them are related more to your personal life. It's more like, have you ever been recognized in public? That kind of stuff.
No, I'm a pretty low-key person, so I prefer to remain pretty anonymous. So I'm not big into the social networking and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's basically where I try to get my name out there is in the industry itself, but that's pretty private.
Well, that is something that I've noticed. Back in the first, back in the day when I was first starting to play the Postal games, and I really started liking your voice acting. I mean, you are the person that got me into voice acting. I mean, I've done some voice acting, in my free time as a hobby, because I really loved your performance as the Postal dude, and you just have a really distinctive and unique, how would I describe it? A resonant voice.
Yeah, it did help for that character. And that really does limit you in the voiceover world. A lot of people think you have to have this big, deep, resonant voice. That's really not the way it's going anymore, except for certain things. And you're kind of limited. Like a lot of the stuff I do is like rock-oriented stuff, concert-oriented stuff, the bad guy, Halloween stuff. But it kind of limits you to that. I mean, your average, everyday, natural-sounding voice is really what's selling now. And I would tend to agree with it because it's more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of the, especially some of the people that influenced me back in the day, like the Don LaFontaines and the Charlie Van Dykes, that kind of style is kind of going away now. Even like you look at movie trailers, there's not even an announcer in it anymore. They just let the story play itself out.
That is true. That is true. I mean, that's something that has certainly changed over time.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah. If you would like, we could start the interview. I mean,
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, because I wrote everything in a notepad, and I got all the questions right here. Let's start. So, my interview with Rick Hunter, aka the Postal Dude. Also, my first interview ever. Okay, so what I wrote here, good to have this phone call and interview with you. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all, Gabriel.
Yeah, thanks. And well, my username on the internet is HSRGV. And don't ask, I mean, it doesn't stand for anything. It's something that YouTube came up with for me, you know.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out, what that meant.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's a dumb name. Yeah, okay. Number one. So, first off, regarding your unique voice, in the interview with Jake the Voice, you said your voice sounded the same when you were 16 as it does now. So, did people ever comment on your distinctive voice back in the day?
It's so funny because it kind of changed within a 6-month period. And
Oh,
when I was 16, I actually got a job in radio at a little small AM station. So, as soon as the voice changed, I got in the business.
Yeah.
And it kind of helped. So, yeah, pretty much sounded the same as I, do now back then.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something I also wanted to ask. So it was more like a gradual process. It was like 6 months. It wasn't just over one night.
No, it wasn't overnight, and you got, especially back in the day, back in the '80s, when having a real resonant voice kind of helped you get into radio. It's not that way anymore. It's more, having a relatable conversational tone, which I tend to agree with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it actually helped me get in the business, so that was a benefit.
Yeah, I can believe that. And wait, I had something else written here. Oh yeah, and I'm sure all the girls loved your voice back in the day.
I can name a handful full of X's that don't, but yeah.
Oh, that is
to be honest with you,
surprising.
not really. I never found that to be the case.
Oh, well, that is very surprising. All right. Okay, so number two. So, in the same interview with Jake the Voice, you mentioned that recording all your dialogue for Postal 1 and 2 took only 3 to 4 hours. Seeing as how Postal 4 seems to have a similar amount of dialogue for the Postal Dude, do you think that you would ever find the time to do voiceover for Postal 4?
Oh yeah, I would definitely do that. And like I said, the dialogue, they're pretty organized guys. When you go in and do the session, the scripts are already, pretty much solidified and everything's highlighted perfectly. Mike is not a real picky guy unless he feels something has to be done his way, and usually his way is the right way. The session's pretty easy to go through. You just kind of like knock the lines out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, about the question 2. So I understand if you can't answer this, but regarding Postal 4, what was the reason why you couldn't do the voiceover?
Oh, you're talking about Postal 3?
Postal 4.
I thought it was 3 I didn't do.
Postal 4.
I can't remember. A lot of it was just stuff I was going through at the time, and it was totally my fault on that end. Not getting back to him. I was just having some relationship problems, and couldn't get that one done. It was one of my colleagues, Corey, who did the voiceover on that one. Corey's a great guy.
Yeah. You're actually talking about Postal 3 right now. I mean, I already knew that.
Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Postal 4?
Yeah, the latest game.
There's
Postal.
some stuff going on with that I really can't talk about right now, but
Oh, okay.
it'll eventually be released.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, I knew about the Postal 3 scenario. I mean, yeah, you were having some trouble with a girlfriend or something, and yeah.
Yeah, just some relationship problems, but and it was kind of right in the middle of all the Postal 3 stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So, your answer regarding Postal 4, that's exciting to hear. Okay, so number 3, and before I go to number 3, I just want to make it clear that there's 7 questions, so I'm not gonna take your time any more than that. So
no worries.
Number 3. In 2008, and I understand if you can't remember this because, it's been a long time, but in 2008, some Postal fans created an expansion for Postal 2 called A Very Postal Christmas. And you recorded some new dialogue for the dude in this fan project. My question is, would you be willing to record some new lines for the Postal dude if another fan made an expansion to a Postal game?
That would all depend because now that this, I don't know what you would call it, company model has gotten a lot bigger, everything would have to go through running with scissors. And if they gave permission for it, I'd be happy to do it. But it's pretty much up to them now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand. Alright, number 4. My fourth question is, have people ever recognized you in public as the Postal voice actor after hearing your voice?
No, I've never really had that happen. I mean, due to I do a lot of voiceover stuff, for different TV stations and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just not an attention person. I'm very low key.
Yeah.
And most of the time somebody says something, it's like, oh, you sound like you're in radio, or you ought to be in radio, or do voiceover work. I usually say, yeah, a lot of people have told me that. I've thought about it. And that's about the end of it. I'm just not an attention whore.
Yeah, that's been clear to me. I mean, you can barely find any information on you on the internet.
Well, over the years, I've been in this business, and there's two types of people. People that really get into the... hold on. I got a Rottweiler in the background that's being annoying. The majority of people out there that do this kind of work or radio, it becomes their identity, and that's usually where they take the fall. You can't make this business your identity. Can I put you on hold for 1 sec?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
Let's see what he's barking at.
1 minute later.
Sorry about that. Hope you're able to edit this stuff, right?
Of course.
Okay.
No problem.
He's a 155-pound Rottweiler, and when he barks, you know it.
Yep.
But no, like I was saying, I mean, in this business, so many people take it as their identity, and it's not a good thing. To me, it's a means to an end. It's a good way to make a living, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. So it's more like a tool. You're yeah. All right, I get it. Let's move on to number 5. For an actor with such a unique and distinctive voice, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to avoid publicity and prefer to stay anonymous. And yeah, I know we just went through this, but is there any specific reason for this?
Like I said, I mean, this is not my identity, and it's a job. It's kind of like if you work at Circle K, you're not going to run around with a Circle K shirt all over the place and saying, I'm a Circle K employee, Circle K. I see enough of that in this.
Yeah.
I have a private life, and I have a lot of hobbies, and kind of on the off time, just do that.
I understand it. Yeah. So like you said, your voice is more like just I suppose a gift that you use as a tool, for your work and business. So, yeah.
It helps, but like we talked about this before the interview. You don't have to have this resonant voice to do voiceover work. Some of the top voice actors in the country, just sound like, everyone else, and they do extremely well.
Yeah.
We just like with me, I fit into only certain genres of things. Like concert spots, rock-oriented stuff. I do some TV station work. That's where my voice kind of fits in more.
Well, I mean, traditionally, like radio hosts and people like that, they usually are associated with a resonant voice, and it helps, but I guess you could do well with very good vocabulary and, just the way you talk, even if you have a very average voice.
Well, it's moving away from that. I mean, you look at, especially in the United States, Ryan Seacrest doesn't have an over-dominating, deep, resonant voice, but he's like one of the top guys in the business. It's more relatability now, what they're looking for.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then again, you're doing a voice like the Postal dude, and you don't want relatability because he's a bad character. He's something dark, deep,
Yeah,
sinister.
that is true. I love the way you described the character. Yeah, dark, deep, and sinister.
And
Mm,
then that was the whole goal of doing that, voice. It's just something kind of Halloweenish, dark.
mm. I suppose it's a lot on how you uh I mean for me Postal dude, I mean the character, he kind of sounds, I mean at least in the second game, he just sounds like an average casual guy with a radio voice. So it's more like you're in this world where you play as an average everyday man. Well, in the first game, sure, yeah, it's more, dark and sinister, but yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I never even think about it that way, so it's interesting.
Yeah. Question number 6. According to IMDb, the website, uh,
Hmm.
the only video game you have worked on is the Postal series. Have you ever thought about doing voiceover in any other video games, animations, cartoons? Because, in my honest opinion, you have so much potential with that voice of yours.
Yeah, it's just never been offered it, nor have I ever gone after it because I'm busy enough as it is, with the clients I have.
Yeah.
But if it were offered, yeah. But I don't think, especially for some of the mainstream games, I don't consider myself that good. Um,
Well, I have to disagree.
but yeah, if the offer came, yeah, I'd do it.
Okay, cool. Because it's something that I always wondered. Because I mean, in my I mean, you have the best voice that I ever heard. Like, I'm not kidding. I mean, it's my personal, honest opinion, and I think you have so much potential. But I understand your point.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so the final question, number 7. How do you feel about being known for playing such a controversial character as the Postal Dude and being associated with such an offensive video game series?
Well, that can be really subjective. There's so many things that are offensive out there. I really don't even think of it. It was just a piece of work I had to do, and it was a fun series to actually voice.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many other things that are offensive out there, and I just am always surprised when people, are offended by that video game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, regarding people getting offended, I mean, these days, I mean, it seems like everybody is getting offended by everything, and just like you said in the interview with Jake the Voice.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I find some of the most people that claim to have the most open minds in the world have the most closed minds in the world when it comes to offending their, point of view.
Oh yeah,
or their own ideology. It's just like, okay, you're open about everything else, but then this offends you, really?
Yeah, I can relate. I met a lot of people, who claim to be so open and, accepting. But, when it comes to some very specific subject, or not even specific necessarily, they get offended right away.
Oh yeah, big time. I find that too. I think they're the most hypocritical people in the world. Especially when they have some of their ideology will offend somebody else, and it's like, okay, well, this again, it becomes very subjective when it comes to your own moral principles.
Yeah. It is like you said. It's very hypocritical, and well, I mean, this is the world we live in these days, and there's nothing. I mean, in my opinion, the world and how people behave and think. I think everything's gone for the worse, but that's just my.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
But again, it's a video. Being offended by going to a action film or a horror film. This is just, it's not real. It's a movie.
Yep. I personally think that, with any video games or movies or any forms of entertainment, you should always have this mentality that, you're watching fiction. This is not real, so no need to be offended. It's just entertainment.
Hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So I think that was all of the questions, but I just want to say that thank you so much for having this phone call with me. And I know that in the beginning when I said that I could pay you for all your efforts and time. So you told me that this is all for free. But if
yeah, don't worry about it.
yeah, but if you ever want any payment for all of this, just tell me. Let me know.
Negative. Come on, dude.
Oh my god, I actually got to have a phone call with Rick Hunter. This is amazing.
Like I said, there's a lot of people out there that would say, nay, negative. Really don't want to talk to him.
Okay, should I be concerned? Yeah.
Nah.
All right. But
seriously, dude, it was good talking to you. And you want to chat again? Just shoot me an email.
So yeah. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. And yeah, well, if I ever have anything in mind, maybe I might, send you some email someday in the future. But thank you so much for this interview.
Not a problem. And like I said, you want to chat again, just shoot me an email and we'll connect.
All right, cool. And best regards, and I wish you all the best in life, and you're my favorite voice actor ever. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. And like I said, questions or anything, keep in touch.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for listening to the interview featuring me, Rick Hunter, and HSRGV. My best regards to all the Postal fans around the world, especially in Finland. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. In your country, that was released in English, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Because I know in certain countries like Russia, didn't they have a Russian voiceover person do it?
Yeah, they did, and also in Poland, if I'm correct. Yep.
That's really interesting, yeah. But was that done through Running with Scissors?
I'm not sure actually. I think it was more like it was more like a fan translation. So it was just like, for example, if I just decided to do a fan translation of the game in my home. So I don't think Running with Scissors had anything to do with the with the fan voiceovers.
Interesting, because I know when it comes to the Russian thing, Mike was over in. They had a ton of people in Russia actually developing Postal 2.
Really?
And that's what most of the work was done. And Mike was over there several times, so there was kind of like a relationship. I don't know how that worked out with the voiceover stuff, but
yeah.
There's a lot of Russian fans. I know it was huge in that country. It was huge in Germany too.
Yeah, wait, so you said that Postal 2 was mostly developed in Russia?
A lot of the work was done in Russia, and then when their economy started getting better and better, it wasn't as cheap to get it done there, so I think they were getting a lot of stuff done here in the U.S. But I'm pretty sure a lot of the work was done there from what he told me.
Okay, that is interesting. I never knew that. I mean, I know Postal 3 was developed by Russian people.
Maybe it was Postal 3. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that you're talking about Postal 3 because Postal 3 wasn't even developed by Running with Scissors, at least for the most part. Postal 3 was developed by this company. I don't even know if I can pronounce the name right, but it's like Akela or something like that.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Postal 3 wasn't a Running with Scissors game, but I mean, obviously they supported the developers. And, this is just from my memory. I might be wrong, but yeah. I've been really nervous because, this is my first interview ever. But I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really good at interviews either, so it's like, it is what it is. Just make sure you edit it.
Yeah, I will. God, I gotta calm down. Wait. Okay. So.
Oh, come on, it's 7 o'clock. Have a glass of wine. Hey, my friend, I got your voice loud and clear, and it's not going to be any problem at all calling you. I already checked it on Skype, so whenever we can hook up and have a chat, let's do it. 11 o'clock is always bad for me. I have a TV session every day at that time, so if you want to do sometime this weekend, like 10:30,
that would be great. And beyond that, I will talk to you soon. Thank you, my man. And by the way, just listening to your voice on the audio you sent, you have a great voice. I would definitely pursue voiceover work. No doubt about that. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.